So I just took my kids to Transformers 1, and I did not want to see this movie. But my wife's like, hey, you should take our kids to this movie. And I'm like, I can't really say no to her sending me to go to a movie with the kids because I like going to movies. But I really didn't want to see this. I think it took me maybe 2 sittings to actually get through the preview. I think the first time I stopped halfway through or just totally checked out, where I was like, hashtag not my Transformers. And I thought the humor looked really cringy in the previews, and it just looked way too silly, and it just looked like another franchise milking. Because this is what I'm used to. And this. But I'm not the hugest Transformers loyalist, even though I have this shirt that I've had for 20 years. Because I think I like the Transformers, the movie from 1986, better than the TV show. This movie is one of my all-time favorite movies. And the reason I think I like this movie better than the TV show is because the TV show, the Transformers, or the Autobots and the Decepticons would get together and they would fight. And then at the end of the episode, they would shake their fists and be like, I'll get you next time. And like nothing would actually happen definitively. So I like the 1986 movie because stuff actually happens. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen it, but people actually die. And so that's really my Transformers, is that movie. So the theater was full of guys in their 40s with their kids. Like I was looking around and I was like, that guy looks 40 something. Oh, that guy looks 40 something. That guy looks 40 something. And I was like, oh, okay. It's guys in their 40s taking their kids. I don't know how well this movie is doing like worldwide or whatever, but my theater was actually really full. The theater right by our house actually got super full and I couldn't get tickets. So I had to drive slightly further. So, I mean, it seems to be doing well here, even though the Wild Robot just came out, which also seems like it's doing well. And my 9-year-old son, even though he loves the Transformers, the movie, he didn't want to see this as much as he wanted to see the Wild Robot. So he actually was a little disappointed when I said we were going to this. So I guess another one of my concerns is just going to be like the old TV show, in that since it's trying to start a franchise, it's going to be like, I'll get you next time at the end. And it would just be like a pointless wheel spinning. And I think I have kind of like a reference for like Peter Cullen and Optimus Prime. And I'm like, I don't want to see silly Optimus Prime. I don't want to see that. Like, just give me normal Optimus Prime. So those are a lot of my concerns going into this. All right, so I tried to have a really good attitude about going to see this. Also, my wife was like, go watch this movie with our kids. So I'm like, yes, I will do that. And it was fun. So I brought 3 of the kids. Oh, no. Yeah, 3 of the kids. And I'm a person too. So we were 4 people, but I only bought 3 tickets because one of the people is just going to wander between the other people sitting on their chairs. So they were the luxury chairs, so they had like a little tray. So during the previews, I got the popcorn and like made a pile on each kid's little tray. Hopefully, so then I could have my own bucket and they would leave me alone. But that didn't last for very long. Okay, so right away during the movie, I was like, even though I like the movie a lot more than, like the 1986 movie a lot more than the series, I was like, I'm going to understand references. So I was like listening, and there were fun Easter eggs in this. I'm not going to like say them, but there was a fun reference to the 1986 movie that I think I was the only one in the theater. I was just like, ha ha, when they said it. So just imagine that honky laugh all by itself with everyone else in there. So I had fun and my kids had fun. And my 9-year-old at one part, this isn't really spoilery, but he like looks over at me, he's like, Dad, it's the Zerg. And I was like, yeah. And then he's like from StarCraft. So he was getting excited for that. And then my 3-year-old, she was sitting with the 9-year-old. And then at one point she like climbs over and comes into my chair and she's like, this is scary. I don't like this. So she's like curled up. But then she was like super watching and super invested. So like all modern movies, I was a little bit apprehensive during the movie because I'm like, something's going to happen in the movie that's going to be like some annoying modern message and it's just going to kill it for me. And I am very happy to report that did not ever happen at all during this movie. Like there was like a couple swears, not in the same category of like modern message, but just like stuff that I could have done without because I had the kids there. But it was pretty mild in that category. And my 9-year-old, after the movie, when I was forcing them all to tell me what they thought of it and what they liked and what their favorite parts were and their favorite people were, my 9-year-old's like, that movie was really violent. And I was like, yeah, it was. But the pacing was really good. It's like an hour and 42 minutes. and the action was awesome. There was tons of action. The music was cool. I loved all the transformy sound effects. I spent a lot of my youth making transformy sound effects, so I feel like they're kind of on the forefront of my brain. Like when I was transforming the toys as a child, I would try to make that sound it makes in the TV show where it's like, right? But that's about how long they transform in the TV show. But as a kid, I would try to make that sound the whole time I was transforming it, and they were like really hard to transform. So I'd just sit there forever being like, and eventually transform it. But this show had cool sound. So I always ask the kids, what was your favorite part? And they're always like, the whole thing was my favorite part. And it's like, no, what was your favorite part? What's a part you really liked? And my 3-year-old was like, my favorite part is how they were friends, but they're not friends anymore. And he's mean now. And it's like, that was like the whole concept of the whole movie. But dang, that's your favorite part. Also, you're 3. And I asked who their favorite characters were. I think my 9-year-old said the Optimus Prime. His name is Orion Pax before he turns into Optimus Prime. And then the 2 girls were like, the girl was my favorite. And then so the 5-year-old said that, and then the 3-year-old said that the girl was also her favorite. And then the 5-year-old's like, don't copy me. And it's like, you can both have the same favorite character. So during the movie, there was a part with a flamethrower, and my 5-year-old was sitting next to me, and she's like, Daddy, flamethrower. And I was just like, yeah. I guess she knows I like fire a lot. So the kids loved it, to the point where my 3-year-old was telling my wife that, well, my wife says, did you like it? And so she corrected my wife and said, no, I didn't like it. I loved it. Like in like a super sassy voice. Yeah, so I really enjoyed it. I was surprised. And so I was like asking the kids, I was like, so should we buy that? And they're all like, yeah, we loved it. And so I could totally see buying this and enjoying it, and either just waiting 3 years for a sequel or never getting a sequel if it doesn't do very well. But even if it never gets a sequel, it's a good like prequel to other cool Transformer stuff. Like I didn't want to see the silly version of Megatron and the silly version of Optimus Prime, but the way that it ends, I do feel like it could just be a cool one-off prequel story leading to the Transformers that I liked growing up. So I originally went into this movie, I don't want to say grumpily, but I didn't want to see it. And I really liked it. I would recommend it for old Transformers people, which I think the whole audience was full of those, all those 40-ish year old guys with their kids. And then also the kids that are not Transformers people all really liked it. So I think you could take kids. I think you could go by yourself as an old Transformers person. I think you should see it in the best quality theater possible, like whether that's IMAX or like a Dolby Cinema or something. Or around here we have something called Platinum X, which is becoming my new favorite. The surround sound was super active, and the colors were incredibly vibrant, and the animation was beautiful. So I would definitely say see it in theaters, and then I'm going to buy it on 4K, and I think it's going to go with these modern animation movies that we love now, like Into the Spider-Verse, the Mario movie, Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. Like there's just been like a string of non-Disney super good animated movies, and this is going to go right in there with them. It's just going to go into the watch cycle with the family. Oh, and Sonic too. It's not really animated, but yeah, so recommend. Anyway, let me know what you think if you're going to go or if you've already seen it. And yeah, see you on the next one. Bye.